Las Vegas, famous, fabulous playground of the West. A wide-open town that never goes to sleep.
Vegas! Vegas, baby! Vegas!
You're either in or you're out. Right now.
My best mates are going to Las Vegas this weekend. I'm told it's incredible.
Vegas, here we go!
Pack your bags and get ready. You're going to Vegas with someone who knows Vegas inside and out. This is Vegas Never Sleeps with Stephen Maggi, the podcast.
We got royalty with us today. I'm talking royalty. Bobby Brooks Wilson, the son of Jackie Wilson. People say he sounds like him. He really does. I mean, you can't tell the difference. And that, well, we were just talking before, I go, that is a supreme compliment. And, you know, Bobby, first of all, thank you for coming. And
thanks for having me.
I got to think, for you, it's in a way, it's tough because people are waiting to see you. And they're like, well, we'll just see how close he gets.
Yeah, that's true. That happens all the time. And in my humble opinion, I don't think I sound like my dad. However, everybody hears him when I sing. So
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, no, and in fact, I was going to ask that because you sound like him in the sense that it's that same quality of music when you hear it and you go, oh, man, that's a sweet voice. It's not like you're doing some sort of a tribute act to your dad. Not at all.
Right.
It's complete. And quite frankly, your discography speaks for itself. You've had a number of hits and so forth.
Yes, sir. On my latest album, I can't. It's About Time. That song, we got 5 hits off that song. Off that CD, released in 2013. And for the next 4 years, I was on the ballot for the Grammys.
Isn't that wild?
So,
It's great stuff. How do you pick out the singles? I mean, in the old days, somebody would just say, "This is."
I didn't do it. I have to give all the credit to my producer in Nashville. His name is Tony Manator. I'm on an independent label called Plateau Music. And the producer basically picked out all the singles and put the album together. The only one that I really insisted on, two songs I insisted on, was the Otis Redding cover, mm-hmm. I've Been Loving You Too Long, that I did, and It's About Time, which is the title track, which I wrote. Those 2 songs I wanted on there because I did a lot of my father's music first. Did 6 or 7 of his songs. And then I said, man, I got to put an original on and I got to do something I want to do.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the nice thing about it is I was going through some of the stuff before we were going to talk. You know the obvious ones, your dad's song, the Otis Redding thing, which, by the way, real difficult cover to do. You do it perfectly. But you got your own stuff, and you don't feel like you're getting second shorted or whatever the word is. It isn't a drop. Like some people will do great cover stuff and then they'll do some original stuff. You go, let's just pass through. Your stuff's really good, and it's good that people will give you the opportunity to kind of have an open mind because it's hard these days to get attention.
Yeah, well, we had a writer named Sharon Davis from the UK, very famous CD reviewer. And one of the first things she says about the Otis Redding song is you can tell Bobby is family because he sounds like Levi Stubbs on the Otis Redding song. And he says, and of course everybody knows Levi Stubbs was my dad's first cousin. So from the Four Tops. So he says, I hear Levi Stubbs in his voice. And I was like, I laughed because when I first met Levi, he would pick at me saying, you got to get up early in the morning and sound like Jackie, like my cousin. I said, I would tell him, I think I sound more like you.
Yeah.
I said, it's easier for me to sing your songs than to sing Jackie Wilson songs. That's what I would tell him. He would laugh.
Well, were you singing from an early age? I mean, was this something that you kind of were born into?
No. Well, yes and no. Yes, because I used to see the Jackson 5 and all those early acts when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But and I wanted to sing, and I knew I wanted to sing. However, I was grounded with the real world. I grew up in a foster home, and my mother was always saying, you got to get your education, you got to get a trade,
Yeah.
So electronics was my thing. As a matter of fact, I had a third class FCC license for disc jockeying at 12 years old.
I remember those. Yeah, I remember those.
I'm going back, right?
Yeah.
I was interested in electronics, so I went through electronic engineering in school, and then I carried that over to the Navy. because I got married because I was dumb, and I got married at 20 years old.
You're too young?
Yeah, dumb. Anyway, but I wanted to make sure I can take care of my family, so I joined the Navy, and they put me right back in school, and I finished my engineering training, and I became an engineer for the Navy.
Wow.
Then 10 years in the Navy, that's when I started singing kind of in the Navy. Yeah. I guess I was singing in my workspace, and everybody was telling me shut up, and I got what they call kidney stones, so I got a medical discharge in Hawaii when I was stationed in Pearl Harbor. Well, in Hawaii, all the Hawaiians and Samoans love singing. And I somehow wind up hanging out with these guys, and they made me go to karaoke bar, which I thought was a Japanese soup bar. I'd never been there before.
Right.
And these guys got me to singing, because we sit around, drink, and eat, and sing. You don't get up on stage, you just sing at your table with a microphone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they'll walk around and put a mic on the table and goes, whose turn is it? And by the person, whoever put the song in, they pick up the mic, start singing from the table.
Wow.
So those are the days, and that's what kind of got me going, because I wouldn't sing. I would watch the Hawaiian guys sing. And then they say, hey, brother, you got to do a song. You got to do a song, brother. I said, nah, man, that's for you guys. Oh, come on, brother, do a soul song. Because they're singing Hawaiian songs, right? So I did My Girl, and when I did My Girl, the room spin. And everybody looked at me like, who is this guy? And that was the beginning for me.
And that was a moment, like the light bulb went off in your head and said,
well,
this is for me.
Something happened. I remember the room was like people, the whispering and what's going on? Who's that? Who's that? And I'm like, it's just My Girl. And anybody can sing My Girl. I'm thinking. Can
they sing it well, though?
I didn't know I was singing it well. And then some little Hawaiian girl come up to me and say, would you sing my song? And I'm like, your song? Yeah, here's my song. And she'll give me a song that I never heard of, which was Unchained Melody.
Oh,
would you sing my song? I said, I don't know. So you could sing it. So when they put the music on, I don't know how I knew the melody, but I sung it just like the melody.
Wow.
And they said, have you sung this before? I said, no. You sound like you sung it before. I said, I've never heard this song before. And I had never heard it.
It's great you're an engineer, but it's even better you did this.
No worries, man.
Well, I mean, was it something that you kind of had, knowing that you have blood from...
No, I didn't know that.
At the time, you didn't know that?
No, because my mom gave me up at birth. She was very young when she had me. So she gave me up. I was born in New York, raised in South Carolina.
So when did you find out?
After I started, a kid named Bruno, his father, Peter Hernandez, saw me singing with the Hawaiian guys. Yeah. Say, hey, man, I got a doo-wop group. Why don't you come be a part of our doo-wop group? You're a first tenor and second tenor. I need your voice. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was still waiting for my discharge.
Right. So you're thinking this is just
I didn't
for fun
think it was a job. I thought it was for fun.
Right.
So I go there, and he does a quick audition, which I didn't know it was an audition, and with a guy named Johnny Valentine, and he's the musical genius for the group. 7 guys, 7 girls, and a little boy. And I said, he says, follow us, and I did. And he says, okay, he's got an ear. And then Pete goes, okay, you're hired. Can you be here every night 1 hour? Yeah, piece of cake. Still didn't know it was a job. He says, okay, well, I need you to lose weight and grow hair.
Okay.
And get rid of the mustache. I had a mustache, and I had my hair shaved. He says, can you grow hair? Because we all have pompadours.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I've been shaving for 10 years. I need you to grow your hair. And that's what happened.
Fortunately,
And so as my hair grew out and as I start slimming down, people start yelling, you look like Jackie Wilson. I wonder if you sound like Jackie Wilson from the audience. And I'm like, who's Jackie Wilson? And they say, Lonely Teardrops, Higher and Higher.
Oh, yeah.
I said, oh, yeah, I know that song. My sisters used to play it when I was little. Didn't know who he was, never saw his face. It wasn't until Peter took me to his house. We was having rehearsal. And Peter said, Bobby, have you ever seen what Jackie Wilson looked like? I said, no. He said, come over here. And he's got all these pictures the album covers on his wall. Billy Ward's Dominoes. He goes and pointed at Jackie and said, who's that? And I went, oh. It looked like me standing in the picture with my smile. I even can see what he's thinking. Like, when is this picture going to be over? You can see it in his head. I mean, I saw he's... When is this goddamn picture going to be over? And I was like, you got to understand, growing up in a foster home, my mom raised over 400 kids in that home. we had 10 kids in the house at all times, from babies till 16-year-olds, every nationality, Chinese, white, black,
Yeah.
Asian, Mexican, you name it. So my mom had in our minds, everybody's your sister or brother. Whoever comes in this house, instant family. When they leave, they're still family if we ever see them again. 9 times out of 10, we never saw them again because they got adopted. I never got adopted. I stayed in the foster home the whole time. And so I never seen anybody that looked like me, ever, in my whole life. So to be 30-something years old and see a man that looks like me standing there, same frame, same body, and then my pompadour was halfway growing, so it was like maybe this long.
Yeah.
So for some reason, his hair was very short, probably because he just got a fresh perm. And in those days, when you get a fresh perm, it lays.
Right.
You know, it doesn't.
doesn't
no matter
go up,
what you
right.
try to do, it won't stay up. You have to wait a couple weeks before you can get it to be poofy.
Oh, no, it's freaky because I'm looking at you, and if you go through my phone, there's a number of his songs. This is the same looking thing.
Yeah.
A lot of years have passed.
Yeah. So he passed away in 1984.
Yeah.
But no, it was that being with the Love Notes. The little boy Bruno turned out to be Bruno Mars.
Yeah, it's incredible. So 2 big stars come out of there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Bruno's me and him worked together until he turned 19, and then he got signed by Motown and dropped by Motown. He was only on the label like 6 or 7 months.
That was a mistake on their part.
Big mistake. And then he managed to become a producer, and that's how he got back in the business.
Have you seen him when he comes out here? Or
Yeah,
anything
I've
now?
seen him a couple of times. I can't get a hold of him like I used to. I mean,
Right.
he's Michael Jackson, for as I'm concerned now. But I talk to his dad and his sisters from time to time. So and his mother passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I hadn't thought about it, but he kind of has taken the mantle.
He is. Yes. I mean, he's up there. I mean, he's known as a producer, a writer, sing-songwriter, and performer, entertainer. So his time is gone.
Well, he's one of the few. I mean, he can command almost whatever he wants when he
does.
comes out here.
Yeah, he does.
More with singing sensation Bobby Brooks Wilson in just a few moments. But first, when you visit Las Vegas, you're always looking for fun things to do. And I think one thing you got to put on your list is the Neon Museum. It's fantastic. What a way to learn the history of Las Vegas, but by the signs that go back all the way to the 1930s. The lobby, in fact, is a restored shell from the old La Concha Motel. It's a lot of fun. The staff there is incredible. A really unique Las Vegas experience, so you can learn the history and have a blast. Go to neonmuseum.org. That's neonmuseum.org. You are listening to the Grammy Award-nominated singer, Bobby Brooks Wilson.
Now bridges are burning out of control. What we might have had together, we'll never know. I gave you my body.
But you're going all over the country. You are having tremendous success and having these hits on charts and so forth. It's hard now because everybody that can sing halfway decent puts a thing on YouTube or puts a thing on Spotify. But you're doing it. You're making albums and stuff.
Yeah. I want to make albums because back in the day, albums were theme albums.
Absolutely.
So you stuck with the same style or the thought process. And even I give Beyonce a lot of credit. Her and Jay-Z, their albums are theme albums. I don't know if you listen to them, but she has a theme per album.
Yeah.
And so we're taking different stories of our life.
I used to love that stuff. I mean, that's why I loved albums. Well, it started with Sinatra, and then the Beatles had, of course,
Not one song,
the Beach
these
Boys.
single stuff. But I understand why they're doing that. That's because you can make a lot of money on a single. But I think the albums tell stories. And
Absolutely.
and that's what I like to do, tell a story,
And the music you play is, I think, some of the best in the world. It really is, and I hope we don't lose that genre. Unfortunately, there's somebody like you doing that.
I intend on keeping it very much alive if I can help it. These last 5 years, I've been covering mostly my dad's music and getting myself out there so that people know who I am. This next 5 years, I'm digging more into me.
Yeah.
And like this album coming up, we only have one cover of my dad's, and the rest is all originals. I got 4 more to do. And like that, the one that's on iHeartRadio now, Bridges Are Burning, I sort of did a nod back to the 50s and 60s with this song. The song was presented to me by another writer, and my manager and I looked at it and said, yeah, I like this song. I want to do it. And I think I channeled my dad and Smokey Robinson in it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I listen to it, I say, well, you're trying to be Smokey Robinson, but I wasn't. It was just the feel of the music, you know?
Yeah.
And so, and that's what came out. And everybody seemed to like it. So we're looking looking to keep doing it, keep pumping them out, to keep performing. As long as God gave me the strength to perform.
Bobby, was that almost like a process where then initially you kind of have to prove it? So you got to do these covers, especially of your dad's stuff. And again, it's such a high standard to meet. People go, okay, this guy's for real. It's really there.
Right.
Or then you can start doing some originals, and then of course people start to like those. Mm-hmm. So it's something. It's almost kind of difficult to just jump in and do your music. You kind of have to do that.
Well, it was a process because, Paul Revere of Paul Revere and the Raiders saw me with the Love Note show. He's the one that said, hey, you got to do Jackie Wilson, when he first saw me. And I was like, Paul, I don't know nothing about him. Well, do your homework and give me an audition in 6 months. So, and he wasn't a guy that you could say no to. Okay, right. So he was the producer of the show in Hawaii. So that's what got me started. So when I started digging into Jackie Wilson's history and finding out who he was, Paul gave me a concept that I never forgot. He says, because I said to Paul, Paul, I'm sliding by with the doo-wop stuff, but I said, I can't be a front guy. And he goes, all I want you to do is dream of yourself doing it before you go to sleep at night. That's all you got to do. See yourself on stage doing Jackie's music. So I said, okay, I can dream.
Yeah.
And in 6 months, I got an audition. They hired me on the spot. Jon Stewart and Jon Stewart and Paul Revere. Jon Stewart is the original producer of Legends in Concert. And I started in Hawaii. I worked 2 years in Hawaii, and then they sent me to the East Coast, and that's when it exploded.
Oh, yeah, I can
Because
imagine.
when they sent me to the East Coast, everybody came out of the woodwork. Who you and where you come from, And that's what got me really going. And once I really picked up the mantle and took it, I've been, devoted ever since.
Was it a process for you in the sense that you kind of had to accept that? I mean, you're getting thrown this information all of a sudden, like you say, you're looking at a picture, God, it looks like me.
I tried to quit the business when I was in Hawaii. I went to the East Coast and worked for a while, 3 years on the East Coast. I worked at Trump Taj Mahal. I worked at Bally's, Trump Resort. I worked at all of those places, Trump Marina, doing the shows.
Yeah.
And then they all went bankrupt and belly up. So I was out of work. So I came back to Hawaii, and then I started working as a Kirby vacuum cleaner salesman.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a tough sell too. I mean,
I had a family. I had my son. I had my
gotta
wife.
do it.
I couldn't just sit on my butt and go, nobody will hire me. No, I wouldn't do that. So I gave up the business, and I remember my manager saying, Bobby, let me help you how to sell. You sell on. He said it's pretty much the same business. You sell on stage. You gotta pretend that you're on stage when you're doing these, knocking on these doors, and sure enough, it did. Work. And next thing I know, I'm the number one salesman, Kirby vacuum cleaner. And I kept asking, because people would call me and say, hey, we need you to come back and do Jackie. And I say, oh, I'm not in the business. Yeah. Hey, we need you to come back and do a Jackie show. I said, I don't do that no more. And then this kind of a big shot guy called me out of the blue. I was on my way to somebody's house. They called me and said, I want to buy 2 vacuums, $3,000 a vacuum.
Wow.
So I said, I'm on my way. So I had 2 boxes in my car, and I get a phone call that said, hey, brother. I said, hey, who's this? You know who this is. I went, it says, need you to go meet Bruno and his mother over at the Beachcomber. We're going to start a show in 3 weeks. I want you to be the host, Jackie Wilson, Stevie Wonder, and Bruno's going to do Michael Jackson and Elvis. His mom was going to do Whitney Houston and Tina Turner. That's the show. And I say, hey, man, I'm not in show business. Yes, you are.
Oh, man.
I expect to see you at rehearsal at blah, blah, blah. Well, I knew the guy. So that was no not showing up. So I went.
I guess I'm back in the business.
And I was back in the business. I've been back ever since. And I remember my guy that owned our shop for Kirby, he's like, are you kidding me? You're going to go back to that? All the money you're making now? I said, well, dude, sometimes it's not about money. It's about where your heart is.
Exactly. But you know, going through that experience, you know, the way you were growing up, it sounds like there's some really good cultural things you were learning there with the family as you were growing up.
Well, see,
right? You went to the Navy, responsibility there.
Well, I went to the Navy to get out of South Carolina. I grew up in South Carolina. Roll back a little bit. I must have been a preemie baby or something because I had rickets at the bones. I had intestinal problems and lung problems. So I was in and out the hospital till I was 12 years old. They had to break my legs and straighten my legs. And I just recently noticed that my feet were cut in half. I didn't even know that.
Wow.
The lady was working on my feet and said, you had an operation on your feet? And I said, no, I didn't. She goes, yes, you did. She said, you must have been really small. And she showed me the incision on both feet. But I remember my feet used to be pointed in and my knees were elbows. So I couldn't stand. Yeah. So I had to go through that process of them strengthening my bones, and breaking my legs, and straightening my feet. I had to go through that process because I remember when I told my mom I was going to join the Navy. She goes, "Oh, baby, they're not going to let you go in the Navy. We had to straighten. They're going to see your legs were broken. They're going to see your feet. They didn't see nothing." I joined the Navy. I was marching, so I thought I wasn't going to make it.
Anchors away, you're in.
They put them boondoggers on me. They can care less. And I said, well, I'm flat-footed. Yep, so what? Get out there, So I went through a lot through my childhood. But music was always there.
Yeah, right.
I was, my big sister, Ann, always playing Wilson Pickett, Bobby Taylor, Bobby Bird. Yeah. Bobby Bird. Yeah. She was playing Red Fox albums, what they call the blue albums. I used to hear some crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But they used to have Friday night fish fries in South Carolina, which is a house party, basically. So I heard all the music. 'Cause I remember when I couldn't go out and play, I would rock to the music.
You liked it, yeah.
Or when I couldn't breathe, I would rock to the music. I remember, and I just found it the other day, Wilson Pickett's version of Hey Jude. Now, I remember this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
First time I heard Hey Jude was Wilson Pickett, not the Beatles.
Right.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad. I mean, I remember it just like
I like that, yeah.
Because I used to take a sad song and make it better. I mean, I was like that voice. So it was in my head. And then as a teenager, listening to Teddy Pendergrass and then watching the Jacksons blow up and watching all these other entertainers. And I got into rock for a little while, so I was into my man, lead singer. I met him. I can't even think of his name now. Aerosmith.
Oh,
Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I accidentally met him in the men's bathroom. And I was singing his song. I was at the urinal with my head,
You're looking ahead.
Yeah, looking at the wall going, don't want to close my eyes, don't want to fall asleep. And he looked at me and says, 'cause I miss you, babe. He was right next to me. Right next to me. I was like, oh, shit. I was tripping. He goes, you got a sweet voice, dude. I said, you too, man. I said, I love your voice. I love your voice.
Wow, what a compliment.
Yeah. So my friend, his name is Rob Garrett. He's a Neil Diamond impersonator.
Oh, yeah. We've had him on the show a couple of times.
Yeah, Rob.
Great guy.
I had just said to Rob when we was in the restaurant, it was in L.A., I said, Rob, from the back, that guy looked like Steven Tyler. Yeah. Rob goes, he wouldn't be at this restaurant. Come on, are you out of your mind? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, yeah, you're right. He wouldn't be at this restaurant. And I went in the bathroom and stuff. We walked out of the bathroom hand in hand, arm in arm, singing that song, Two-Part Harmony. Wow. And Rob was eating his burger. He'll tell you, he started choking. He'll tell you. Because he was like, and he was trying to grab his phone, to see. Because this was like 10 years ago.
That's just an organic way to meet because, normally people are like, oh, Steven Tyler. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I'm singing with my junk out. Don't want to close, And he's got his junk out, 'cause you miss you, babe. I'm like, whoa. What kind of meeting is that, man?
Yeah, and I guess the other people in the bathroom are like, I don't know whether I really enjoy this or I feel weird.
No, it was just me and him.
Oh, just the two of you?
It was that restaurant where the people, the hostess and the waitresses, they all dressed up as characters. Like, there was Marilyn
50s,
Monroe.
60s,
Yeah,
right. Okay.
That's the one we stopped at.
Like in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp
I know what you
Fiction.
mean, yeah.
It's the same one. And they were in there, and I remember looking at the guy from behind, and I said, and he goes, "How are you going to look at him from behind and say he's Steven Tyler?" I said, "I'm a big Steven Tyler fan.
Yeah.
Not as much as the whole band. It's him, the front guy. You know, I'm into front guys." So I said, "Man, he's a bad dude." And Rob's like, that guy, he wouldn't be here. Are you kidding me?" and he was, you know, so it was funny. I hope to cross paths with him again so I can bring that story up.
Yeah.
Because how many people you at the urinal and you meet?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know.
And his residencies here is so popular. Aerosmith is probably the biggest rock residency right now in town. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you should go.
Yeah, I hope so. I didn't know he was here.
Oh yeah.
Where?
Well, off and on. I mean, he comes, but they do a residency here.
Where's his residency?
The Palms. I think that's right. It was at the
I'm
Palms.
going to go.
Yeah, you need to find out because, in fact, I was talking to Jason Braceland, who's with the Review Journal, that's their music editor, and he was saying that the two biggest acts right now in town are Lady Gaga and Aerosmith. And Aerosmith's interesting because that goes way back, obviously,
right.
And there's a lot of other classic rock groups that come in, but I guess they've really taken it upon themselves to really bond with Vegas.
Right.
They've put a lot of technical stuff into their performance.
Yeah, because they don't want to go on the road no more. I mean, these guys
It's a
been on the
great
road for
place for that.
30 years, 40 years. When I met Johnny Mathis back in 97, 98, I got hired by Tropicana to do a tribute to Johnny Mathis. In those days, I was
You can sing like Johnny?
I was doing tributes to everybody during those days. In those days, I was doing Little Richard. Shut up, baby! Woo! I was doing Stevie Wonder, Johnny Mathis, Sam Cooke.
Well, Johnny's got. Well, I could see Sam Cooke. That makes a lot of sense.
And of course, I was doing my dad. But I got hired by Tropicana, and it was an afternoon show, 4:00 show.
Yeah.
So they brought Johnny Mathis in, and to see me. I didn't recognize him. He's sitting on the front row with a ball cap on.
Yeah.
And halfway through, it's not for me to say. I recognize who it is.
That freaked you out?
I choked. I'm going up that scale, and then all of a sudden I go, it's Johnny Mathis. And he's looking at me like this. But he's got a ball cap on, so I couldn't really see his whole face till he did like that. And I was like, that's really him. It was Johnny Mathis. So after my show, he came back, gave me a big hug, told me I sound better than him and look better than him. And he says, anything I can do to help you. He started handing me stuff.
Wow.
And I said, no. I said, thank you. He said, no, here's my set list, and here's this, and here's that. He says, and I like to do a lot of songs from Brazil. I'm a big Brazil fan. And I said, yeah, I know.
Wow.
So he was, you don't see people who open the door like that, and he just opened the door. He says, you look like Jackie Wilson. I said, yes, sir, that's my dad. He goes, well, you do your dad? I said, yeah, that's easy. I said, you will work.
Yeah, he's right. I saw him up in Tacoma, and I actually saw him in Tacoma. They did a special fundraiser thing. This guy's in his mid-80s, and he can hit those notes. His stuff is hard, like you say, right? That's not an easy guy to go out and sing his music.
No. I worked real hard to capture his spirit. It's about capturing who he is. It's being an actor.
Yeah.
So when I had to go in with Jackie Wilson, here's the difference between when I started playing Jackie Wilson with everybody else. There was nothing on Jackie Wilson. I couldn't find video. I couldn't find an article. I found 2 articles I didn't like. One article was in the library, and it's a paragraph. Jackie Wilson, an acrobatic singer that could woo an audience. That's all it had.
Now, what does that mean, right?
Yeah. And then I saw something in Rolling Stones a little later on that talked about Jackie Wilson's family receiving his accolades for when he got accepted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I didn't like that article either because it was a negative article. So I didn't have nothing to go on. Right. So I said to Paul Revere, I said, Paul, I don't have anything to go on. I have no idea what Jackie Wilson would be like on stage. Paul goes, sing the song and just be you, and they will see Jackie. He said, because you don't know, but you so much like him.
Yeah.
So I went, I don't know what that means. So I just started developing Bobby Brooks.
Right.
That's all I started doing, developing Bobby Brooks. The more I became me, the more I was him, and I didn't know it. So by the time the 2000s hit and YouTube hit and the videos started coming out, people said, "Hey man, I was watching Jackie Wilson. Is he copying you?" I said, "No, he's performing. You idiot." You know? And I hadn't seen the videos yet. I said, "What video are you talking about?" He said, "Go to YouTube." And when I saw Baby Workout for the first time, I just flipped. Because everything he was doing, I was doing.
Isn't that something?
But I was doing in my own style, which was
Right.
his style.
Absolutely.
The way I stood, the way my neck extended, the way I got on my knees and sung to people on the stage. He was doing it all.
You know, it's great if you go to YouTube and you look up you.
Yeah.
You have a certain style yourself. And again, I never say, I mean, wow, he looks like Jackie Wilson and he could sing like him. But you're you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think people will be really pleased because it's an easy transition to the original stuff, which is important because, you know, I'm sure you don't want to just do tribute type work.
Well, you know, I do a lot of the doo-wop shows with the Duprees and with the with Lou Christie,
Lightning
Tony
Strikes,
Orlando, Sonny Turner. I got a show coming up with him in 2 weeks. What the fans have come to me and said, not the fans, but the other artists.
Yeah.
He said, "You know what we like about you?" I said, "No, you ain't trying to be Jackie.
Right.
You." And then they go, "But you're Jackie."
What a compliment,
Yeah,
right?
because the Duprees told me that. Who told me that? This guy named Jerry Blavitt. Jerry Blavitt was a DJ from the 60s.
Yeah.
And so he has a lot of shows. I do a lot of his shows. And he goes, "God damn it, Bobby." he said, "I could swear that's Jackie. Every time you move, it's like Jackie on stage." And he started jumping and singing. Jerry Blavitt's like 77 years old. He bounces around like he's 20 years old on the stage. I ain't never seen nothing like it in my life. And he has a nightclub gig in Atlantic City called the Miramar Bar. And he DJs from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. every Friday, Saturday
Still?
night. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You got to go online, go to Instagram and put Margate Bar.
Margate.
Yeah, Margate.
Yeah, okay.
Margate Bar, and you will see him and his crowd. The kids are 25 years old,
Getting into
going
it.
crazy.
Because it's their first time, right? So,
Well,
you know.
he's playing all music though, but
Everything,
I
huh?
went there because we did a show 6 weeks or 8 weeks back with Jerry at Golden Nugget in Atlantic City. So he said, "Hey, Bobby, come to my gig after the show." I'm like, "You're 80 years old. What gig after the show?" We was with the Tramps, Sonny Turner, and one other group, and I can't remember the other group. I said, "All right." So I said, "You going to be at the Margate Bar?" He said, "Yeah." It's right. You see the big elephant? Turn right, and you'll see it right at the. All right. So me and my fiance went. We got there. They had bouncers, big Italian boys with tuxedos on, standing out in front. Big old Italian boys. And I'm like, I don't see any black people going in. You know. And my girl said, "Come on." So we get to the door with the bouncers. "Hey, we know who you are. Come on in. Jerry's expecting you." We come in there. They had to move the people out of the way to get us up to the Jerry's booth.
Wow.
And they were slamming till 4 a.m. Me and Gladys are going like, "I'm tired." I said, "No, look at him."
Yeah, right. We want to see. First of all, let's tell people where can we see you? What's up next for you?
In town, I will be at Italian American Club, but you're gonna have to table it. It's October the 18th. Tickets on sale already, but
Okay,
I usually do a show annually there.
The fun place to play.
Yeah. I was just at Suncoast with Ed Matthews Productions, but no, this is my show. We have a 7-piece band, 3 singers, and we do 2 hours of great music for you.
We will put that down on the calendar, and then, of course, we can get the single right now everywhere, right?
You can get the single on Spotify, and Spotify is a streaming service, but I'm on iTunes and Amazon.com and Google Play and all that other stuff.
And you're working on a CD, you were saying.
We're working on a brand new CD, almost finished. I got 4 more songs to do. So I'll be flying to Nashville this fall to finish it up.
When should we expect the beginning of next year?
Not to the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
Because we got the Bridges Are Burning, which is
the single.
The single, the title cut of the album.
Right.
That album will be called Bridges Are Burning. So,
Can't wait for it.
So can't wait to finish this album, man. So it's kind of a throwback sound. That's what we're doing.
That's great. Well, first of all, I can't wait. I love that music. Mm-hmm. Let's get you back in here in the beginning of next year, and we'll talk about the album. And in the meantime,
let me throw this out real quick. If you're in L.A., my father's finally getting his due. Jackie Wilson's star will be laid on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on September the 4th, 11:30 a.m. in front of the Roosevelt Hotel. If you want to just cruise by and check out that star, should be a great celebration.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, Jackie Wilson, a great star, but Bobby Brooks Wilson, you're a great star too, and wish you the best of luck from here on out.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You've been listening to Vegas Never Sleeps with Stephen Maggi, the podcast, with new shows loaded twice weekly. Got a guest idea? Email us at info@vegasneversleeps.com and catch the show live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, coast to coast on the Biz Talk Radio Network.
Do you own a real business that makes real money? Not just an idea for a business, but a real revenue-generating business? Then we have what every business needs to run and grow. Cash. Call the Business Cash Advance Line, and in just 5 minutes, you could be well on your way to securing up to $1 million in funding for your business. Use the money however you want. Try new advertising, buy inventory, purchase equipment, or pay taxes and other bills. Call now to secure up to $1 million in less than a week. The process is quick and easy. Call the Business Cash Advance Line to speak with an account manager now. Representatives are standing by, so if you need to get up to $1 million in working capital to grow your business, don't wait. Call right now.
800-445-1099. 800-445-1099. Call now. 800-445-1099. That's 800-445-1099.
Looking for high-speed internet where you live but are out of reach of cable and fiber options? Look no further. High-speed internet is now available in your area, as your local authorized HughesNet retailer, Whole Home Connect, makes it easy to get the high-speed internet you need with blazing fast speeds, unlimited data with no hard data limits, with built-in Wi-Fi for as little as $2 a day. Act now, and for a limited time, get free standard installation and free equipment with HughesNet from Whole Home Connect. You'll enjoy internet service that lets you do more of everything you want to do online, like shopping, surfing, and staying in touch. Call Whole Home Connect and see for yourself why HughesNet is America's #1 choice for satellite internet.
800-832-1508. 800-832-1508. 800-832-1508. That's 800-832-1508.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.